Hello, welcome back to another little tour through the cranial catacombs. So piggybacking off my last video about the ionosphere disappearing, it ended with getting the boat of your soul ready. And I wanted to expound on that a little bit more and how we can go about doing that in the cheapest possible manner and what it really means. So let's jump right into it. What I mean by the boat of your soul is the vessel itself is your body. You are the soul inside the boat. So you become Noah, and your body then becomes the ark, right? Your temple, what you will survive the storm inside of. And so what that implies is that you don't just want to get your soul ready to make the journey, but you want to make sure your temple, it can make the journey. And this goes into them poisoning us with heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, rodenticides, glyphosate. I mean, the list goes on and on of what they're putting into our food. And so let's get into this. What happens if the ionosphere disappears? Because this is the whole point of Noah's Ark, preparing for the storm, preparing for this flood. What happens if it disappears? From what I understand is that when the ionosphere disappears, we're going to be exposed, even though we're exposed to more sunlight in the terms of UV radiation, ultraviolet radiation, it will actually be colder because we'll be exposed to more space as well. So the radiation goes up, and it may be hotter during the day, like the drastic temperature change may be a thing, but I think that cold temperature is ultimately going to be part of what happens. And let me get into why I believe that. It's because you can say all of this is fictitious or that it's a theory and that it's holding no validity. But the trending topics right now in the health world would show that subconsciously we're preparing for this event. So we're going to go through well, first of all, the ionosphere freezes. Like I said, in my opinion, it's going to get cold. Second, we're going to have less oxygen. We're not going to die. It's going to be less oxygen on the planet. Third, we're going to lose communication, and this is what they mean by, the blackout. Is eventually, when the ionosphere disappears, we're going to lose a lot of our communication because the ionosphere, like I was saying in the last video, reflects shortwave frequencies back to Earth so we can communicate. But when that's gone, we're going to lose communications. So, what can we do about this? And what are things that are already trending? And once you realize, you're going to be like, my goodness gracious, it all makes sense. So let's get into it. One thing, oxygen's going to be low. Well, first of all, you got to get yourself inside of your boat ready, because you can build a great boat, but it starts with the great builder. So meditation. Any form of meditation that works for you. Qigong, Tai Chi, a moving meditation works for a lot of people out here in the West because they're very mind-oriented, like they're stuck in their mind. And it's easier for them to move and focus on a movement than to sit still and not focus on anything. So this is good for a lot of people just getting into it. It helps you move with your breathing. Other things is, so that coupled with ice bath is Wim Hof. Okay, Wim Hof is known to go into extreme cold and getting through it through breath. So he's a pioneer in the movement, because ice baths and cryotherapy are huge right now. And to get through those, what you do is you breathe. So not only do we learn how to take in oxygen, but we learn how to withstand cold by taking in oxygen. So it's no coincidence that if the ionosphere disappeared, all of a sudden we have less oxygen. So we need to take in more. We need to know how to take in more oxygen, and it's going to be a lot colder. And so this is why ice baths and breathing, breath work is so important at the moment. Another thing people might be freaked out about is UV radiation. When the first tissues that are going to be damaged, and a good example of this, the first tissues that get damaged by UV radiation is the eyeballs. And a good way to give an example about that is snow blind. When you go snow blind, like up on Everest, people walk outside of their tent or are exposed to the radiation reflecting off of that, they can go snowblind because the tissues in their eyes are susceptible to that. How do we fight that? Well, what else is getting popular right now? Blue light blocking glasses. And who has the best? In my opinion, Raw Optics. Go check them out. Amazing products. Not a sponsor. Just love them. Just love them. So another thing that comes with UV radiation is the death of a few monocrops, if you could believe it. They can't survive. What is a monocrop? It's a highly industrialized agricultural practice of growing certain crops, such as soybeans, wheat, maize, cotton, corn. So a few of these monocrops that die due to the UV radiation of the ionosphere dissipating would be soybean, corn, cotton, wheat. And I like to call those scarcity crops. And I believe they were implemented into the human diet to make us feel like, it helped evolution, but they're scarcity. We use them when we don't have food. And we need to get out of a scarcity mindset as a species, because it's not true. Where there is no scarcity. Everything is in abundance. And so those are scarcity crops. They will be destroyed. But those are also the most highly genetically industrial modified monocrops. So it's a good thing. Another thing that happens with this event from my research is that marine algae will start to thrive because of the UV radiation. And if you look at products these days, they're coming out with chlorella, spirulina, all of these amazing products. Purium here is beautiful. It's a beautiful product. Also not a sponsor yet. I plan on doing their transformation. I haven't yet. I've followed them for several years. It's a little pricey for my budget, but it's way worth it. I'm still saving up the money to get it. I would highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. But another good thing that's very popular nowadays that's going to help is that food is going to be scarce. So fasting is important. Learning a fasting protocol, learning how to be able to fast in a healthy way, and learning how to go through detoxification, which Purium helps out. Purium is big with that. And detoxification is going to be a whole nother topic because, like I said in the last video, it's important to get the heavy metals out of your body. But more than just the heavy metals, it's important to get fungus and parasite out of the body as much as possible. So you don't want there to be any dysbiosis at all. Because imagine now, if there's a dysbiosis here, and your body's this boat, this little nose. Let's look at this picture here. Let's see if we can get an example. Say your body is this boat, and you're heading, getting ready for the storm. If your boat is full of, is a dysbiosis, because your boat's your body. If it's full of people out to get you and to destroy your boat from the inside out, you'll never weather the storm. Does that make sense? So you can build a strong boat, but if the inside is being infiltrated by parasites or fungus that are in a dysbiosis with your body, it's going to fall apart from the inside out. And so I have another video coming out real shortly that's going to outline how parasites and fungus are actually what we call demons. And we'll get into that. They're also angels. Bugs are it'll be an interesting topic. So the purpose is to start a detoxification, start a meditation practice, qigong, start to make sure that the builder of the boat is a good builder. Because if the builder's building a bad boat because they're not centered, then the boat's never going to turn out good. The boat won't be structurally sound. So start a meditation practice. Start some sort of ice bath, cryotherapy, Wim Hof breathing type of thing. Get into some cold and do some deep belly breaths through the process. Research cold water therapy, cold showers. It's always good. Look into getting yourself some blue light blocking glasses. People might be nervous about the sun's radiation on the skin. Okay? Oh, skin cancer. Well, that's only really a big concern if you're eating foods that are carcinogenic. because you're becoming the foods you're eating. And if you're eating foods that are cancer causing or inflammatory, it's going to translate into, you know, a dis-ease in the cells, and you know, it's gonna skew the body's ability to be in harmony. So you don't really have to worry too much. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of a way to offset that soon, but I don't think that if you're eating things like Purium, you're fasting, you're eating high quality foods, good oils, I don't think you'd have to be too worried about the UV radiation giving you skin cancer, because you are what you eat, and if you're eating carcinogenics, you're going to become carcinogenic, and the sun's going to expound that at an exponential rate. So I think the diet plays a big part on that. Get your blue light blocking glasses, because your eye tissues are going to go first. When this event happens, your eye tissue will be the most susceptible to the sun's radiation. So get that. Start getting off the monocrops. If you're still on corn, soybean, cotton, wheat, start cleaning up your diet. Look into Purium, look into Organifi, look into Whole Foods, Paul Check, look into, you know, intuitive eating. We need to start growing gardens. We need to start looking out for each other as a community and coming together. So reach out to the people in your community. Don't be strangers. Community is important. And so as we move and usher in this new age, we need to realize that cancer cells are isolated cells that don't work in harmony with the community around them. So it's okay to be a hermit, but we still need to come together as a community. And if you're not ready, there could be other things that could help. So this is where the parasite, you might be having thoughts and visions that aren't yours, or things that are making it hard in your life to grow and excel. And there could be entities oppressing your life. So we'll get in that in another video. Thanks for sticking around if you did. This was just a quick how to prepare your boat from the outside first, and then I'm going to get into an inside out. So start with you know, some breathing, cold water therapy, get off the